Hello Kara crew. This video is about recording a few of the things in the logbook relative to the engine compartment and the motors. It's not a full description of everything you need to log. One of the things you need to log, both when you get on the boat and when you leave at the end of your week, is the hours for the port engine, the starboard engine, and the generator, which is back in the engine compartment. You log these things, you write the numbers down here on the appropriate areas in the logbook. Here we are back at the rear engine compartment. Please do not step on any of the motor components when getting in and out of the hold. Use the ladder. It's not much of a ladder, but that's what it is, so please keep this handy and use it anytime you get in and out of the engine compartment. Here we are in the engine compartment looking at the port motor, and just beyond that, in the middle, is the generator, and at the back of the generator are the is the hour meter. There are also a couple of fuses here if you're having problems. You might check these fuses, and there's also a local start control. Starting and stopping this generator does not need to be done from this location. There are controls on the bridge, and those are covered in a separate video. While in the engine compartment, you should check the oil. This is the oil dipstick, and be sure to check the coolant level in all three motors. The coolant level for the generator is in that separate container right there. The oil dipstick for the generator can be found on the starboard side of the generator right there. Also, while in the hold, you should check the batteries. There are essentially 4 separate battery systems on the Kara. Each motor has its own separate starting battery. Plus, there is the deep sink system. There are 2 6-volt batteries wired in series to create a 12-volt circuit, and then there is a second series just like that. That's the deep sink system. You'll need to check the water levels in the batteries, and if you've never done that, first thing you do is make sure that there's no debris. The last thing you want to do is drop contamination down into the battery water. So pry off the lid and visually inspect to see that there is an appropriate amount of water in the batteries. The deep sink batteries, just pry that sideways, lift off, visually inspect. If you need to add water, use the special battery water in a gallon container that is in the rear hold. Do not use any other regular water. You need to use mineral-free filtered water. Also, just as a matter of reference, these alligator clips are from the solar systems. That little unit right there controls the solar system. There's nothing you should need to do, but that green light just tells you that things are charging properly, that the solar system is working properly. There's a second set of clips which goes to a smaller 5-watt panel, which also helps maintain the batteries for full charge. And again, we've seen this module before. This module controls the charging of all the batteries and makes sure that everything is charged properly. And again, the deep sink batteries will show a full charge when this yellow light is lit. And I think that the generator needs to be run for that to show properly. While you're in the hold, make sure that the rear bilge pump is working properly. There are 2 bilge pumps on this ship, one here in the rear engine compartment and one midship, which I'll show you in a little bit. They are both activated by a float, so if too much water comes into the ship, these will float and activate the bilge pump. So to check it, all you have to do is rock that back and make sure the pump engages. It's normal to have a little bit of water back here, so don't panic if you see some. Rainwater gets here, and then water from the rear deck, if you're hosing off the rear deck, will accumulate. Also, while we're here, hopefully you'll never have any problems, but this is a water separator from the fuel system, and that is a fuel filter. If gasoline is not getting to any of the 3 engines, you've eliminated other problems, it may be necessary to change those items. And there are 2 sets, one on this side and one on that side, They both feed into this manifold, and the manifold feeds all three engines. So unless you're not getting any gasoline to any of the engines, this is probably not your problem. This float is usually tucked up underneath here, so you'll have to reach under there and find it to check it. We're going to the forward hatch down into the hold to check the midship bilge. And just like the one in the engine compartment, it works on a float. What you have to do is lift that float to make sure that the bilge is working properly. It is not common for there to be very much water here, so if you have a fair amount of water here, you'll want to find out why. Also, since we're down here, I'd like to point out a couple of filters. If you're not getting good water flow to any of the the water from the lake, you might need to check this filter or that filter. That filter goes back to I think both of these. Actually, there's the filter, and that's the pump for the water that goes to the sink in the bathroom and the kitchen. Back over there, there's another one that goes to the hose system, which is activated on the back deck. And there's a third filter and pump which goes to the forward bathroom in the cuddy. We've had problems with water not circulating through this, and this pipe goes straight outside. Sometimes it gets clogged because it's so close to the front. If the Cara rocks on shallow waters, this pipe will get clogged with silt, and you have to actually reach in from underneath with a long stick and try to clean it out. Good luck. So again, if you have any, make sure you log all of these pieces of information in a logbook in the appropriate areas. And if you have any significant issues that need to be dealt with, you need to log those on a separate weekly logs event page. And you need to send a copy of your log and this page to Cara ownership. You keep a copy, and one copy stays on the boat.